The championship point arrived with all the drama that the preceding hours had promised, a moment so perfect in its execution and so charged with emotion that it seemed to suspend time itself within the hallowed walls of center court. Kate felt her breath catch as the final rally began, a sequence of shots so spectacular that it would be replayed for generations of tennis fans who could only dream of witnessing such artistry in person. When the winning shot finally came, struck with precision and power that left no doubt about its outcome, the explosion of sound from 15,000 people rising simultaneously to their feet created a wall of celebration that seemed to lift the very roof of the stadium. Kate found herself applauding with an enthusiasm that came from deep appreciation of what they had all witnessed together, her face radiant with the kind of joy that could only come from being present for a truly historic moment. William was on his feet beside her, his own appreciation for athletic excellence evident in the sustained applause he offered to both players. In that moment, Kate could see everything she loved about him: the respect he showed for achievement in others, the genuine enthusiasm that no amount of royal training could manufacture, the natural grace that made him completely at ease whether he was in a boardroom or a tennis stadium. The newly crowned champion fell to the grass in exhausted celebration, overcome by the realization that years of preparation and sacrifice had culminated in this perfect moment. Kate felt tears spring to her eyes as she watched the pure emotion on the player's face, the recognition that dreams really could come true through dedication and perseverance. It was a reminder of why she and William chose to attend events like this, to be present for moments that celebrated the very best of human potential. As the traditional post-match ceremonies began, Kate and William prepared for their own role in the afternoon's proceedings. The presentation of the championship trophy was one of Wimbledon's most treasured traditions, and Kate felt honored to be part of a ritual that connected them to decades of tennis history. Every detail had been planned with the precision that characterized all Wimbledon events, yet there was still room for the spontaneous emotion that made these moments truly special. The walk down to the court, the final moments of the championship match, arrived with an intensity that seemed to transform center court into something approaching a cathedral of sport. Kate could feel the collective breath of 15,000 spectators being held as the players prepared for what everyone sensed would be the decisive points of an extraordinary final. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the immaculate grass court, creating a natural spotlight effect that seemed to heighten every movement, every gesture, every split-second decision that would determine the outcome. William was completely absorbed in the tactical drama unfolding before them, his understanding of competitive pressure allowing him to appreciate nuances that escaped casual observers. Kate watched him as much as she watched the tennis, fascinated by the way his mind worked through the strategic elements of what they were witnessing. His quiet commentary had become more intense as the match progressed, his respect for both players evident in his analysis of their different approaches to handling the enormous pressure they were facing. The atmosphere in the royal box reflected the broader tension that had gripped the entire stadium. Dignitaries who had attended hundreds of sporting events found themselves genuinely nervous about the outcome, their usual composure replaced by the kind of authentic investment that only truly great sporting moments could inspire. Kate felt privileged to be sharing this experience not just with William, but with everyone around them who understood they were witnessing something that would be remembered for decades. As the players changed ends for what might be the final time, Kate took a moment to appreciate the broader significance of where they were and what they were experiencing. Wimbledon represented so much more than just a tennis tournament. It was a celebration of excellence, tradition, and the pursuit of greatness that had inspired generations of athletes and spectators. The royal family's long association with the championships was part of a tradition that connected them to the very best of British sporting culture. The crowd's energy had reached a level that was almost tangible. Every point was being contested with an intensity that spoke to years of preparation, sacrifice, and dreams that hung in the balance with each shot. Kate found herself completely caught up in the drama, her own competitive nature responding to the incredible determination being displayed by both players. She could feel her heart racing during the longest rallies, could sense William's own tension in the way he leaned forward in his seat during the most crucial moments. Between points, Kate's attention was drawn to the faces in the crowd around them. She could see the pure joy of children experiencing their first Wimbledon final, the knowing appreciation of elderly spectators who had witnessed decades of championship tennis, the nervous excitement of family members, and coaches who had invested everything in supporting these players. This diversity of emotion and experience was part of what made center court so special during moments like these. The cameras continued their relentless documentation, but Kate had long since ceased to be conscious of their presence. Her reactions were completely genuine, unmarked by any awareness of how they might appear to the millions of people watching around the world. When a particularly spectacular shot drew gasps from the crowd, her own expression of amazement was spontaneous and authentic. When the tension became almost unbearable, she shared the collective anxiety of everyone present. William's hand found hers during one especially nerve-wracking moment, a simple gesture of shared experience that spoke to the deep partnership they had developed over years of facing public pressure together. They had learned to find these moments of connection even in the most formal settings, to maintain their essential humanity despite the artificial constraints that surrounded their public appearances. The quality of tennis being played had transcended mere athletic competition and approached something like artistry. Each player was performing at a level that few people ever achieve in any field of human endeavor, pushing themselves and each other to heights that seemed to surprise even them. Kate felt incredibly fortunate to be witnessing this level of excellence, to be present for what was clearly destined to become one of the legendary matches in Wimbledon history. As the final games approached, Kate became aware of the historical significance of what they were experiencing. This was not just entertainment or even sport in its purest form, but a demonstration of human potential that would inspire people long after the immediate excitement had faded. The players were writing their names into tennis history with every shot, creating memories that would be treasured by everyone present for the rest of their lives. The Royal Protection Officers had positioned themselves strategically around the box, but even their professional focus could not completely mask their own investment in the outcome of the match. Kate had grown fond of her security detail over the years, appreciating their dedication while recognizing their humanity. Today, she could see their own appreciation for being present during something truly special. William's analysis of the tactical elements became more animated as the match reached its climax. His natural competitive instincts were fully engaged, his respect for both players evident in his commentary about their different approaches to handling pressure. Kate loved seeing this side of him, the way his analytical mind applied itself to whatever captured his attention, whether it was tennis strategy or matters of state. The crowd's response to each point had become increasingly enthusiastic, their appreciation for excellence overriding any partisan preferences they might have had about which player they wanted to win. This was what Kate loved most about great sporting events, the way they could unite people from completely different backgrounds in shared appreciation of something beautiful and meaningful. As the final set moved toward its conclusion, Kate felt a sense of profound gratitude for everything that had brought her to this moment. Not just the immediate circumstances that had brought them to Wimbledon this afternoon, but the entire journey that had led from a chance meeting at university to this shared experience in the Royal Box at one of the world's most prestigious sporting events. The late afternoon light had taken on a golden quality that seemed to enhance every detail of what they were witnessing. The perfectly maintained grass court, the precise white lines, the concentrated faces of the players, the rapt attention of the spectators, everything seemed to be illuminated with an almost supernatural clarity that heightened the drama of each point. During one extraordinary rally that seemed to go on forever, Kate found herself completely absorbed in the back and forth action. The level of skill being displayed was unlike anything she had ever seen, each shot requiring not just technical perfection, but the kind of mental strength that could only come from years of preparation for moments exactly like this one. When the point finally ended with an impossible winner that left the crowd stunned into momentary silence before erupting in appreciation, she joined in the standing ovation with enthusiasm that came from deep appreciation of athletic excellence. The tension in center court had become almost unbearable as the match moved toward its final points. Kate could feel the collective anxiety of everyone present, the understanding that they were witnessing something truly special, something that would be remembered and discussed for years to come. Every person in the stadium, from the most casual tennis fan to the most knowledgeable expert, seemed to understand the historical significance of what they were experiencing. William reached over and took her hand again, this time holding it as they both leaned forward to watch the final, decisive moments of what had already become an unforgettable championship match. The simple human connection between them, maintained even in this most public of settings, reminded Kate of why their relationship had not only survived but thrived despite all the pressures that came with their unique position in the world. The tension in center court had reached fever pitch as the championship match entered its decisive moments. Kate could feel her heart racing, not just from the incredible tennis being played before them, but from the electric atmosphere that seemed to crackle through every corner of the historic venue. Beside her, William was leaning forward in his seat, completely absorbed in the tactical battle unfolding on the pristine grass court below. What struck Kate most powerfully was how this moment encapsulated everything she had come to love about their life together. Here they were, two people who had met as university students, now sitting in the royal box at one of the world's most prestigious sporting events, sharing an experience that millions of people around the globe wished they could have. Yet despite all the ceremony and protocol that surrounded them, at its heart, this was simply two people who enjoyed each other's company watching an incredible tennis match. The cameras continued their relentless documentation of every expression, every gesture, every shared glance between the royal couple. Kate had learned years ago to find the balance between being mindful of her public role and allowing herself to be genuinely present in the moment. Today, that balance felt effortless. Her reactions were completely authentic, her joy in the experience unmistakable, her connection with William visible to anyone who cared to look. During a particularly intense rally, Kate found herself gripping the armrest of her chair, completely caught up in the drama unfolding before them. The players were pushing each other to extraordinary heights, each shot more spectacular than the last. When the point finally ended with an impossible return that left the crowd gasping in amazement, Kate turned to William with an expression of pure delight that needed no words. William's own enthusiasm was infectious. His deep knowledge of tennis strategy was evident in the quiet commentary he provided between points, explaining the tactical nuances that were invisible to casual observers. Kate loved these moments when she could see the analytical mind that made him such an effective royal, applied to something as simple as following a tennis match. It reminded her of their early days together, when she had been charmed by his passion for subjects that captured his interest. The royal box had become a microcosm of the broader excitement that was gripping center court. Dignitaries and celebrities who were usually models of composure found themselves swept up in the drama of the match, their formal reserve giving way to genuine sporting enthusiasm. Kate and William set the tone with their obvious enjoyment of the experience, their relaxed demeanor encouraging everyone around them to let their guard down and simply enjoy the spectacle. Between sets, Kate took a moment to appreciate the broader scene around them. The crowd was a perfect cross-section of British society and international visitors, all united in their appreciation for tennis excellence. She could see families with children who would remember this day for the rest of their lives, elderly couples who had been attending Wimbledon for decades, young people experiencing the magic of center court for the first time. This diversity of the crowd was part of what made Wimbledon special, the way it brought together people from every background in shared appreciation of something beautiful. William was engaged in conversation with tournament officials about the condition of the grass courts, his genuine interest in the technical aspects of the game evident in his thoughtful questions. Kate watched him with pride, seeing the qualities that had first attracted her to him all those years ago. His natural curiosity, his respect for expertise in others, his ability to make anyone he spoke with feel valued and heard. These were the characteristics that made him not just an effective royal, but a wonderful partner. The match resumed with even greater intensity, each player clearly determined to seize control of the championship. Kate found herself completely absorbed in the action, occasionally gasping at shots that seemed impossible, applauding enthusiastically when players demonstrated extraordinary skill under pressure. Her reactions were completely spontaneous, unmarked by any consciousness of the cameras that were documenting her every expression. As the tension mounted, Kate became aware of the broader significance of this moment. This was not just a tennis match, but a celebration of everything that made British sporting culture special. The respect for tradition combined with appreciation for innovation, the understanding that excellence required both natural talent and relentless dedication, the recognition that sports at their best could inspire people to reach beyond what they thought possible. William reached over and squeezed her hand briefly during a particularly tense moment, a simple gesture that spoke to the deep partnership they had built over more than a decade of marriage. These small moments of connection were what kept their relationship strong despite the enormous pressures of public life. The ability to share authentic experiences together, to find joy in simple pleasures, to maintain their essential humanity despite the artificial constraints of royal protocol. The crowd's energy seemed to feed the players, each spectacular shot earning increasingly enthusiastic applause. Kate could feel herself becoming more invested in the outcome with each passing game. Both competitors were performing at levels that transcended mere athletic achievement and approached artistry. She found herself thinking about the years of preparation that had brought these athletes to this moment, the sacrifices they had made, the dreams that hung in the balance with every point. During one extraordinary rally that lasted nearly 2 minutes, Kate found herself holding her breath along with the rest of center court. The level of skill and determination being displayed was unlike anything she had ever witnessed. When the point finally ended, she joined in the standing ovation that erupted spontaneously throughout the stadium, her own applause enthusiastic and sustained. The royal protection officers maintained their watchful presence while clearly enjoying the match themselves. Kate had grown fond of her security detail over the years, appreciating their professionalism while recognizing their humanity. Today, she could see their own excitement about being present for what was clearly destined to become a legendary Wimbledon final. As the match moved toward its conclusion, Kate reflected on how perfectly this day represented the life she and William had built together. They had found a way to balance their public duties with genuine personal enjoyment, to maintain their authentic selves while fulfilling the demands of their royal roles. This tennis match was simultaneously a state occasion and a personal pleasure, a perfect metaphor for how they had learned to navigate their unique position in the world. The atmosphere in center court was unlike anything Kate had ever experienced at a sporting event. Every person present seemed to understand that they were witnessing something truly special, something that would be remembered and discussed for years to come. The energy was electric, but also respectful, appreciating the extraordinary skill being displayed while maintaining the dignity that Wimbledon traditions demanded. Williams' commentary became more animated as the match reached its climax, his competitive nature fully engaged in analyzing every strategic decision and tactical adjustment. Kate loved seeing this side of him, the way his natural leadership qualities and analytical mind applied themselves to whatever captured his attention. It reminded her of why she had been drawn to him in the first place, before she knew anything about his royal heritage. The late afternoon light filtering through the retractable roof created an almost magical atmosphere in center court. Kate felt incredibly fortunate to be sharing this experience with William, to be witnessing tennis history in the making while surrounded by the traditions and pageantry that made Wimbledon unique among sporting events. These were the moments that made all the challenges of public life worthwhile, when duty and pleasure aligned perfectly to create something beautiful. As the final set reached its climactic moments, Kate found herself completely absorbed in the drama unfolding before them. Every point seemed crucial, every shot potentially decisive. The crowd was responding to each development with increasing enthusiasm, their appreciation for excellence overriding any partisan preferences they might have had about the outcome. The buzz of anticipation in center court was palpable as Kate and William settled into the royal box, their presence adding an extra layer of excitement to what was already shaping up to be an unforgettable final. Kate's eyes swept across the iconic venue, taking in the sea of faces turned toward them with expressions of delight and curiosity. She had attended Wimbledon many times before, but each visit brought its own unique magic. William leaned closer to Kate, pointing out various dignitaries and former champions scattered throughout the crowd. His knowledge of tennis history was impressive, something Kate had discovered early in their relationship when he had regaled her with stories of legendary matches and incredible comebacks. Today, he seemed particularly animated, his genuine enthusiasm for the sport shining through the formal requirements of the royal engagement. The royal couple's arrival had created ripples of excitement throughout the stadium. Social media was already buzzing with photos and commentary about Kate's elegant choice of outfit, her radiant smile, and the obvious chemistry between the couple. Fashion bloggers were analyzing every detail of her appearance, while royal watchers noted the relaxed body language between the Duke and Duchess. But, for Kate, the most meaningful moments were often the smallest ones. The way William automatically adjusted her chair before she sat down. The protective hand he placed briefly on her back as she navigated the steps to their seats. The private joke they shared about something only they could understand. These tiny gestures spoke to a relationship that had matured far beyond the fairy tale romance the world had fallen in love with years earlier. As the players began their warm-up routines on court, Kate found herself reflecting on the journey that had brought them to this moment. She thought about their early days at St. Andrews University, when William was just another student trying to blend in, and she was a young woman from Berkshire studying art history. The memory of their first meeting still made her smile. Neither of them could have predicted that a chance encounter at a university fashion show would eventually lead to this life together. The crowd's energy was infectious, and Kate felt herself getting caught up in the pre-match excitement. She had always loved sports, had been athletic herself in her younger days, and appreciated the dedication and skill required to compete at the highest levels. Wimbledon represented the pinnacle of tennis achievement, and being able to witness history in the making never got old. William was in his element, discussing strategy and technique with the tournament officials seated nearby. His natural leadership qualities were evident even in casual conversation, the way he asked thoughtful questions and listened intently to the answers. Kate watched him with pride, seeing not just the future king, but the man she had fallen in love with, someone who approached every situation with genuine curiosity and respect for others. The royal protection officers maintained their vigilant watch while trying to remain as unobtrusive as possible. Kate had grown accustomed to their constant presence over the years, understanding that their job was to allow her and William to live their lives while keeping them safe. Today, she could sense their own excitement about being at Wimbledon. Even the most professional security detail could appreciate the magic of center court. As the players were introduced, the crowd rose to their feet in applause. Kate and William joined in, their own enthusiasm genuine and unmistakable. The formality of their royal roles seemed to meld away in moments like these, replaced by the simple pleasure of being spectators at an incredible sporting event. Kate clapped enthusiastically, her face lit up with the kind of joy that no amount of royal training could manufacture. The first set began with explosive energy, both players demonstrating the skill and determination that had brought them to this championship match. Kate found herself completely absorbed in the action, occasionally gasping at particularly brilliant shots or impossible saves. William was providing quiet commentary, explaining technical aspects of the game that enhanced her appreciation of what they were witnessing. Between points, Kate's attention occasionally drifted to the crowd around them. She could see families with children, elderly couples holding hands, groups of friends sharing the excitement together. This was what she loved most about public events like Wimbledon, the way they brought people together from all walks of life, united in their appreciation for excellence and their hope for something extraordinary to happen. The cameras continued to capture their every reaction, but Kate had long since learned to find the balance between being mindful of her public role and allowing herself to be genuinely present in the moment. She cheered when the shots were spectacular, showed concern when players were struggling, and shared knowing looks with William when the tension became almost unbearable. During the first set changeover, Kate and William were introduced to several special guests and tennis legends who were also in attendance. Each interaction was brief, but meaningful, their genuine interest in the people they met evident in their body language and attention. Kate particularly enjoyed meeting young players who were just beginning their professional careers, always eager to encourage the next generation of athletes. The conversation flowed easily between them throughout the match, sometimes about the tennis they were watching, sometimes about their children back home, sometimes about completely unrelated topics that made them both laugh. This natural ease with each other was something that had developed over years of partnership, through challenges and celebrations, through the ordinary moments and the extraordinary ones. As the match progressed, Kate found herself becoming increasingly invested in the outcome. Both players were performing at an incredibly high level, each game closely contested, each point earning enthusiastic applause from the appreciative crowd. She could feel William's own tension rising as spectacular rallies unfolded before them, his athletic background giving him a deep appreciation for what they were witnessing. The Royal Box itself was a study in controlled excitement. Kate and William set the tone with their genuine enjoyment of the match, their reactions encouraging others around them to relax and enjoy themselves as well. There was an infectious quality to their enthusiasm that seemed to spread throughout their immediate vicinity. During one particularly long rally, Kate found herself on the edge of her seat, completely absorbed in the back and forth action. When the point finally ended with a spectacular winner, she applauded enthusiastically, her face showing the pure joy of witnessing athletic excellence. These were the moments that reminded her why she loved attending sporting events, the way they could transport everyone present into a shared experience of wonder and excitement. William reached over and took her hand briefly, a simple gesture of shared pleasure in what they were experiencing together. It was these small moments of connection that meant the most to Kate, the way they could find intimacy even in the most public settings, the way their relationship continued to deepen even after all these years together. The crowd's energy continued to build as the match reached its climax. Kate could feel the electricity in the air, the sense that they were witnessing something truly special. Every person in center court, from the most casual tennis fan to the most knowledgeable expert, seemed to understand that they were part of something historic. As the players battled through each game, Kate found herself thinking about the parallels between competitive sports and royal life. Both required incredible mental strength, the ability to perform under pressure, the resilience to bounce back from setbacks. Both demanded a level of dedication and sacrifice that few people could truly understand. Perhaps this was part of what drew her and William to sporting events, the recognition of kindred spirits who understood what it meant to live life in the public eye. The afternoon sun filtered through the retractable roof, creating perfect lighting for what was shaping up to be an unforgettable championship match. Kate adjusted her position slightly, settling in for what promised to be a thrilling conclusion to an already spectacular tournament. Beside her, William was completely focused on the action, his competitive nature fully engaged in following every strategic move and tactical adjustment. This was exactly how Kate loved to spend time with William, sharing experiences that allowed them both to forget the pressures of their public roles and simply enjoy being together. Whether they were watching tennis at Wimbledon, attending a rugby match, or enjoying a quiet evening at home, it was these moments of shared pleasure that kept their relationship strong and their love for each other fresh. The morning sun cast long shadows across the manicured lawns of Wimbledon as Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, stood before her bedroom mirror, carefully choosing her outfit for what would become one of the most photographed appearances of the year. The weight of royal protocol pressed gently on her shoulders, but today felt different. Today, she and William would attend the Wimbledon final together, and something in the air suggested this would be more than just another royal engagement. Kate's fingers traced the fabric of her chosen dress, an elegant piece that struck the perfect balance between royal dignity and personal style. She had learned over the years that every choice she made would be analyzed, criticized, and celebrated in equal measure. The color, the designer, the accessories, even the way she styled her hair would be dissected by fashion experts and royal watchers around the world. But she had also learned something more important. Authenticity could not be faked, and genuine love always shone through. In the adjoining room, Prince William was adjusting his tie with the practiced ease of someone who had worn formal attire to thousands of events. Yet there was an energy about him today that suggested anticipation. Wimbledon had always held special meaning for the royal family, and for William personally. It represented tradition, excellence, and the very best of British culture. More importantly, it was where he could be himself, where the weight of future kingship could be set aside for a few precious hours. The couple had been married for over a decade now, their love story having captured hearts around the world. From their university days at St. Andrews, where shy Catherine Middleton had caught the eye of the future king, through their brief separation that only strengthened their bond, to their fairy tale wedding watched by billions, their relationship had weathered every storm that public life could throw at them. But today was not about the past. Today was about the present moment, about two people who had chosen each other every day for years, who had built a life together that balanced duty with genuine affection. As they prepared to leave for Wimbledon, there was an understanding between them that needed no words. This would be their day, their moment to shine together. The journey to Wimbledon began with the familiar routine of royal security checks, but even the most seasoned protection officers could sense something special about this particular outing. Kate and William moved with an easy synchronization, their conversation flowing naturally as they discussed everything from their children's latest adventures to their predictions for the match ahead. Kate found herself thinking about how much had changed since their early days together. She remembered the nervous energy of her first royal events, the careful way she had to learn royal protocol while staying true to herself. Those days seemed like a lifetime ago now. She had grown into her role not by losing herself, but by finding the perfect balance between the woman she had always been and the Duchess she had become. William, meanwhile, was reflecting on how fortunate he felt to have found a partner who understood both the demands of royal life and the importance of maintaining their personal connection. He watched Kate as she spoke with their security detail, her natural warmth putting everyone at ease. This was one of the things he loved most about her, her ability to make anyone feel valued and heard. As their motorcade approached the famous gates of Wimbledon, crowds began to gather. Word had spread quickly through social media that the Duke and Duchess would be attending, and fans from around the world had converged hoping for a glimpse of the royal couple. The energy was electric, with people of all ages holding signs, flags, and flowers. Kate felt the familiar flutter of excitement mixed with responsibility. Each public appearance was an opportunity to connect with people, to represent something positive and hopeful. She had learned to see beyond the crowds to the individuals, to the mothers holding their children up for a better view, to the elderly couples who had waited for hours just to wave hello. The car slowed as they entered the grounds, and Kate caught sight of the iconic Wimbledon logo. This place represented so much more than tennis. It was a symbol of tradition, of excellence pursued with grace and dignity. It was a place where legends were made and dreams came true. And today, it would be the backdrop for another chapter in their own ongoing love story. William reached over and gently squeezed Kate's hand, a simple gesture that spoke volumes. In that moment, they were not the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. They were not future king and queen. They were simply William and Catherine, a couple in love, about to share an afternoon watching world-class tennis together. The atmosphere inside Wimbledon was charged with anticipation. The final match promised to be spectacular, with two incredible athletes at the peak of their abilities competing for one of tennis's most prestigious titles. But, for many in attendance, the real show was about to begin with the arrival of the royal couple. As their car came to a stop, Kate took a deep breath. She could see the flashing cameras already, could hear the excited murmur of the crowd. But she also felt William's steady presence beside her, his calm confidence that had always been her anchor in the storm of public attention. They had done this hundreds of times before, but each public appearance still required its own kind of courage. To be genuinely themselves while knowing that every expression, every gesture, every interaction would be captured, analyzed, and shared around the world was no small task. Yet they had learned to find joy in these moments, to focus on the positive connections they could make rather than the potential for criticism. The door opened, and the world outside rushed in. The sound of cameras clicking, voices calling their names, applause from the gathered crowd. Kate stepped out first, her smile genuine and warm as she acknowledged the welcome. William followed, his own easy confidence immediately apparent as he waved to the crowd. Together, they began their walk toward the royal box, their path lined with Wimbledon officials, tournament organizers, and VIP guests. Each interaction was brief but meaningful, their training in royal protocol allowing them to make everyone they met feel special while maintaining the careful timing that such events required. Kate found herself energized by the atmosphere. There was something uniquely British about Wimbledon, something that celebrated both tradition and innovation, respect and passion. She could see it in the faces of the ball boys and girls who stood at attention as they passed, in the excited whispers of the crowd, in the perfect maintenance of the grass courts visible in the distance. As they approached the royal box, Kate caught sight of familiar faces in the crowd. There were tennis legends, celebrities, politicians, and members of the public who had won the ticket lottery for a chance to attend. But there were also the faces that mattered most to her, the Wimbledon staff who had become like extended family over the years, the officials who had shared countless tournaments with the royal family. The royal box at Wimbledon was a place steeped in history and tradition. Generations of royals had sat in these seats, watching tennis history unfold. Kate felt the weight of that legacy, but also the privilege of adding her own chapter to the story. She and William were not just carrying on tradition, they were creating new memories that would inspire future generations. As they took their seats, the crowd's energy reached a crescendo. Cameras captured their every move, from the way Kate arranged her skirt to the animated conversation William was having with a tournament official. But beyond the spectacle, there was something deeper happening. Two people who had chosen to build a life together in the most public circumstances imaginable were demonstrating what genuine partnership looked like. The players had not yet taken the court, but already the day felt historic. Kate and William's presence had elevated the event from a tennis match to a celebration of everything that made British culture special. Tradition and modernity, formality and warmth, duty and personal joy, all perfectly balanced in two people who had learned to navigate the impossible demands of royal life, while keeping their love for each other at the center of everything they did. As Kate settled into her seat and looked out over the pristine center court, she felt a deep sense of gratitude, not just for the privilege of being there, but for the journey that had brought her to this moment. Every challenge they had faced as a couple, every criticism they had weathered, every difficult decision they had made together had led to this afternoon where they could simply enjoy being together at one of the world's greatest sporting events.